very often the art of blending is taking its root in regional grapes, like in Bordeaux, it's Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, because that's what grows. But in modern world, in the new world, also South Africa is a bit of an old part of the new world, the sky is the limit, and you can try to improvise and explore unusual blends for the benefit of the drinker, to try to play with different components. And Holden Manz, I've been trying a very daring blend of Viognier, Chenin, and Chardonnay. What do you have in your glass, Cathy? When I say Viognier, actually Chardonnay and Chenin.
It's a very interesting blend, and I use interesting in the fact that it's quite an attractive blend as well. Not using interesting as the crutch that some people use it for to get out of.
Very, very interesting.
It's a very interesting jacket you're wearing today.
I try to.
Anyway, back to the wine in the glass. Look, it's got a gold colour, a gold or deep straw colour. So you know that it's going to have Chardonnay or Chenin or potentially one of the other grape varieties that picks up some colour, like Viognier. And then when you put it in near your nose, you immediately get apricots, which for me is the marker. Fresh apricots is the marker for Viognier. And you were saying earlier on that some people confuse the variety with Gewürztraminer.
Yes.
But this doesn't have the roses or the Turkish delight character that you get from the Gewürztraminer. And then sometimes also muscat, because sometimes you've got very florally muscats. But for me, this doesn't have the grapey tones of muscat. And for you, I think you were saying the mint.
Yes.
So this apricot and floral is pure Viognier, in my opinion.
And the Viognier is kind of overwhelming the potential lemony side of the Chardonnay in it and the green apple, or can you find them hidden behind? I mean, Viognier is a very powerful aromatic grape, and it tends in any blend to take the light.
It does. You've got to be very, very careful. I mean, even when you blend a little bit with your Shiraz to make a typical Northern Rhone red, you've got to be careful with how much you put in, because if your Shiraz isn't there, the Viognier will take over. But back to this wine. No, on the nose, I think this apricot and floral is actually leading the way and suggesting to you that there's Viognier. And it follows on the palate as well. There's that apricot character on the palate. But there I get a little bit of baked apple.
Okay.
Which potentially could come from the Chenin. And quince as well, which I think could come from the Chenin. The wine is full-bodied, very full-bodied, not least because it's got 14.5% alcohol. But this is made in not a very ripe style, but it's made in a very sun-warmed style. And I think on the palate is where you get this combination of Viogner's viscosity with Chardonnay's viscosity as well, to give you real mouth-coating character on the palate.
But that's a good clue. You can almost see the viscosity on the wine.
Yes, that's true. Always take a look.
Always take a look. It's very often when you taste wine blind, look at the glass, look at the decanter bringing the wine. The depth of the color and the viscosity is more visible in larger volume. And on the palate, I agree with you. Yes, the Viognier is clearly leading the blend. And you can feel Viognier is a fairly low acidity grape, while Chenin and Chardonnay can bring more freshness into the wine. That makes a lot of sense, because you feel the freshness on the finish, but the middle palate is oily, can sound like a bad word, but you can feel the viscosity of the ripeness of the Viognier.
Yes, you certainly can. And you're also getting, after that apricot flavour, you're getting a slight bitter almond character as well, which is quintessential Viognier. I think in this blend in particular, the Chardonnay and the Chenin are playing supporting roles, and they're helping the Viognier actually be the very best Viognier that it can be, because it's a really lovely blend.
Viognier, people say it's a warm climate cultivar, but it can become very flabby very quickly due to this lack of acidity. And I think it's a very smart wine to be able to use the freshness and the crispiness of Chardonnay and Chenin to support the fruitiness and this very generous fruitiness of Viognier without making it too flabby, too heavy, too oily, like it can be sometimes.
Now here's a philosophical question for you. Do we need to be able to identify all the varieties that are used in a blend, or should the blend be so harmonious that you may suspect there's something in there playing a role, but not be able to put your finger on it?
The reality is the few countries in the world that traditionally make blends, and in France, Bordeaux is a key region that has been playing with blend for very long. You never know the truth. You never know actually how much wine. You got what's in the back label. But it's always like in champagne. It's a trademark of the winemaker. It's a trademark of the house. And eventually, they want the best product possible. And to my opinion, I'm a Northern Rhone lover of Viognier, and it has to be done extremely well, because it can be otherwise a very simple cultivar with just providing fruit. The way they've been managing it here, bringing these supporting roles with Chenin and Chardonnay, is actually giving one of the best expression of Viognier, but it's not Viognier. You can feel it's not Viognier. It just got the benefits of Viognier, the freshness of Chenin, the lemoniness and creaminess of the Chardonnay. That works very well together.
Works very well. Cheers.
Cheers.